That mindset of harder, stronger, faster is the symptom. It's not the solution. Where did her fascination with the perfect form of yoga begin? Maybe it's that same spark that lit Mary Shelley's imagination in Frankenstein, taking familiar elements and bringing them to life in an unexpected way. In yoga, we do this by blending methods or methodologies. Lately, I've had a challenge for myself. Can I blend the breath-centric, alignment, sometimes feeling avoidant method of Viniyoga with the strong Hatha Vinyasa power style of yoga that we see flooding yoga studios throughout the West? And there's a reason why I want to do this, because I want to teach people something that's slower, something that's more gentle, something that's less showy, can also be something that they can sustain and utilize for the rest of their life. And maybe I want to make a point that slowing down does not mean giving up or that something's easy. But first, let's take a step back in time and explore, how do we get to this place of power yoga? The person who I would say is most responsible for the shape shifting that yoga has undergone in the last century is from a teacher by the name of Tirumolai Krishnamacharya, or T. Krishnamacharya. And Krishnamacharya was born November 18th, 1888 in southern India. And it was through his teachings and the students that he taught, which brought in the elements of yoga that we see today. He brought in the influence of martial arts, of dance, of gymnastics, and the concept of vinyasa, meaning arranging the postures in a very specific way or order. One of his students was Pattabhi Jois. Pattabhi Jois was a student of Krishnamacharya's from a young age, from elementary school in fact. But when they reconnected, he was attending the university at the time. And Krishnamacharya taught him a style of yoga that was tailored to his youthfulness, to his strength, to his energy that Pattabhi Jois possessed at the time. And he ended up going on to create Ashtanga Yoga, which is where we get elements of flow, of strength, of power. And then there was B.K.S. Iyengar, another student of Krishnamacharya's, and his brother-in-law, in fact. But unlike Pattabhi Jois, Iyengar was a little bit older and a little bit more frail from a life of illness. And through his teachings, Iyengar carried on a very alignment-based style of practice, the use of props, of blocks, of bolsters, of straps, of even a rope wall. And then there was T.K.V. Desikachar, the son of Krishnamacharya, the teacher of my teachers, and the preserver of his father's teachings. And you could say the founder of Viniyoga, although he wasn't interested in giving that style a brand name. His approach to yoga deviated from Pattabhi Jois's and Iyengar's. The emphasis was on the yoga system as a whole and of personal practice. It brought in not just elements of asana and pranayama, but chant, of mantra, of meditation, of Ayurveda, and other ways of thinking outside of the box. It was a very holistic approach to the practice. Alignment was important, but not as important as the breath. So where does power yoga come in? I would say power yoga is a mix of Ashtanga and Iyengar yoga. And it gained popularity in the 90s as a westernized version of Ashtanga yoga, with pioneers like B.K.S. and Baron Baptiste adapting the practice for a broader appeal. It has flow, it has power, it has strength, it has breath, it has alignment. But the power piece is what made it stand out. And it was its way of catering to this new Western lens, a lens of fitness, a lens of getting in shape, of working hard, working out, getting stronger, sweating. But here's the problem, that mindset of harder, stronger, faster is the symptom. It's not the solution. And it's for that reason that Viniyoga may be the perfect complement, the perfect creation, the Frankenstein, you could say, of yoga. If I was to break down Viniyoga into its three most important aspects, it would be this. First is that it's breath-centric. In Viniyoga, the breath always precedes the movement and extends beyond it. It's like a sandwich where the breath is the bread. Every moment starts and ends with the breath, and you have to adjust the speed of the movement to match the breath and not the other way around. I actually had made an entire video a while back dispelling the many myths of some overused cues, one being move like you're moving through honey. It's a misleading cue because it tends to encourage students to slow down for the sake of slowing down and not following the breath. The second is movement of the spine. In Viniyoga, the spine is the focal point of movement. Every movement should be centered on how the spine is positioned. Asymmetric postures that twist, turn, or even laterally bend the spine should always be countered with a symmetrical one, bringing the spine to neutral. The way we breathe should be felt in the movement of the spine as well. Inhales subtly creating this feeling of extension of the spine, whereas exhales gently flexing the spine. And lastly is that dynamic postures happen before static ones. In Viniyoga, a posture is done dynamically first before it can be held statically, meaning that you flow in and out of a sequence, you repeat it, and then gradually you work up the capacity for a longer hold. This is very different from a flow style of class where you hold first, then you flow second. The benefit of dynamic before static is that it tempers the body for longer holds, basically develops the capacity over time and repetition instead of trying to force or push through to hold something longer. And although there are many other important aspects of Viniyoga, these are the ones that stand out and stay top of mind for me. But back to Frankenstein. Can I blend Viniyoga and Power Yoga into a creature of my making? Well, of course, and I have. And what I've found is that the contrast between the two modalities offers a lot of insight into the practice and insight into the body. And you can try all of these out, and I will share with you the links to explore this fusion of practices together of how Viniyoga and Hatha Vinyasa Power Yoga meet.